Yeah, and so I actually did, so when you talk about blog posts, this is an interesting topic, and where you're looking at this content, right? So obviously, different audiences, different sizes.
Yeah.
So when I was working at Percona, we had about 300,000 viewers of the blog every month. It's a pretty decent size, right?
Yeah.
But
That
what
is
was
good.
yeah, what was funny was the blog there. It would have some content that would get like 20,000 views in the first like 3 days, and then there would be other ones that only got like 100 views in the first few days. So being the crazy person that I am, I actually we made a contest for all of our engineers and people who were writing content, where we would give them a championship belt at the end of the year if they had like the highest ranked or the highest viewed content. But how we phrase this is there's two different ways to do this, which is the first 30 days worth of views, and then versus the entire year's worth of views from a consistent basis. Because there's two types of content, in my opinion, when you're writing blogs. The first one is really about making sure that you have that pop, that initial kind of like, oh my God, we need to go get this. It's the Hacker News effect, right? So we wanted to get this on the first page of Hacker News, and then you'll get like 25,000 views in like one day. But then there's the other ones, which are for SEO purposes or for people who are actually searching for a solution.
Yes.
And you know what? Those trickle in.
Yeah.
But those trickle in ones are sometimes worth more than that Hacker News pop, right? Because when, like you have a topic like, how to beat the system on an AWS and reduce your bill by 50% or whatever. I mean, like, I'm just going to throw that out there. You throw that out there, and maybe like somebody at Hacker News goes, wow, that's awesome. What's that going to necessarily do for your company? Unless you are Corey Quinn and your whole company's about saving, money on AWS, right? Probably not going to do a lot. But it's interesting. It will get people to take note. They'll know who your company is. They'll check out that content. But they're not going to necessarily go to your database company, for that. But if you have how do you deploy this using Node.js and, JSON objects, blah, 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 and people are actually searching for that as a solution, then that is probably going to generate a higher conversion rate to actually become a user than that higher pop content.
Yeah, it's like your product is showing itself a problem. Yeah, and I've seen a lot too, like an engineering team will like change some process that makes their engineering process better, but it's not related to your product at all. So people are coming for like, if you're a database company, they come for your like CI/CD content. It's like, okay, that's cool and interesting. And like, and I think that's definitely a good awareness play, especially if you're like looking to kind of just grow your name a little bit. But you're right, it's not going to lead to like bottom dollar. And you need both. You need both. I think you need both. I definitely would focus more on the long tail content. I think in terms of like, if you can make a piece of content that is useful for the next 3 to 5 years, like that's a great return on investment, and like it's actually solving some real problems.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say one other thing too about the total views on content too is like sometimes the best content is gonna get lower views, but it's more niche and more targeted. So like you're solving like a more advanced problem that is like very specifically solved by your product, and it's only going to be targeting like 100 people, but those 100 people are going to be like really, really good use cases for your
so
product.
This is where I'm starting to evolve my thinking, and this is like a difficult problem to solve, but it is not impossible.
Yeah.
And this is where I've been experimenting quite a bit is those views. I want to know how many of those views are from people who actually tried or used my software. Yeah. And that conversion ratio, the guess is on the ones that have 100, the conversion ratio from those who view versus and try is probably going to be higher.
Yeah.
And so I've been experimenting with that internally on some of our content and some of the other things we're doing, which is kind of cool. Right? Because I mean, like, obviously that, like, hey, it's great. I got 10,000 views, but if those 10,000 views, none of them became customers or users or, just read it and said like, yeah, this is mildly interesting. That's different than if you have 100 people who read it and say like, that is spectacularly awesome.
Yeah. That's been like a part of my like kind of post-tech weird market thing too, is like focusing more on 102 or 201 type content, more like intermediate to advanced content. I feel like most companies, like there's a ton of content for like getting into whatever market segment you're in, but like I feel like products are going to be differentiated on their advanced features. So I feel like I'm like trying to lean into like more advanced subjects more like recently. like digging in a little bit further, which has been a shift personally for me.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes you've got to make that, like shift, right? Sometimes you have to look at that, and I think that like, so what I was talking about here. Let me. So
You got a slide?
I have an image. I have an image for everything. Okay, I have an image for everything. So this is my. I just made a blog specifically to talk about like the reason you should be tracking production users. So Joe, like this is a classic usage problem. And by the way, this is not, so those listening, this is not me trying to promote my content. This is just happens to be Joe like throwing me softballs and he's like, oh, what about this? And it's like, oh, look, I have something on that. Let's talk about it. So for those who are listening and not watching, what I've done is I put up this graphic that I just did about how do you correlate content metrics with your data. So when you look at monthly activities, if you've got 2,000 unique page views and 5,000 people who clicked in and 100 people who downloaded or 50 backlinks to the thing, like all of those are marketing metrics or metrics you probably track from a community or a content perspective. But the question is, which one of those lead to actual people downloading and trying the software?
Yeah.
And based on this, what you'd probably say is, just on the number of unique views, blog 3 is the most popular blog. So obviously that is the one that you would say you want more of that content. But in this case, blog 1 has way more downloads than blog 3. So people who actually tried the software, more people did it to the one that appears to be like less popular. And
yeah,
so
and that's not to say like blog 3 isn't valuable. It's just like
it's different.
They're solving different problems.